Hello everyone. We are very happy in Spanish Tapas Madrid because we have a new era and we have new products, and in this case we're going to present you Dr. Buckley, who is a friend of, I met him thanks to a friend, Amalia López Salso, and we are very excited because he's an expert in modern art and he's creating a new experience for Spanish Tapas Madrid. Professor, what can you tell us about this new experience?
Well, across the street from where we are, you have the most famous building in Madrid, which is the Prado Museum, which is one of the great institutions, art institutions of the world. People come from all over the world to see it. But the Prado Museum only takes you all the way from the early years to the 19th century. It's a magnificent historical account of Spanish and European art through the 19th century, through the early centuries. But when you reach the 19th century, that was the time when the Prado was actually established as a museum. It was a royal collection before, then it became a museum. But then art stopped there, and there were no great museums or institutions to carry on this narrative of artistic progress in Europe until about 50 years ago, when Baron von Kiessen, who's this gentleman here, decided, probably influenced by his wife, who is Spanish, probably she had something to do with it, but they decided to bring their famous art collection to Madrid. That was a turning point for me, because otherwise art stopped in the 19th century, yes, with Goya, but then thanks to this institution, the art progressed into the end of the 19th and all of the 20th century, which is what we want to see.
Perfect. So this is one of the institutions we're going to visit during the experience. And what can we find? What type of art?
We're going to discuss Impressionism, because as a revolution, because it was an artistic revolution, a new way of seeing reality and expressing reality. It was the first great revolution, and that's why I say that modern art begins with Impressionism. And we're going to go through all the great Impressionist painters that are represented here at the Thyssen Foundation, and also what is usually known as the post-Impressionists, in other words, the painters who started with Impressionism but then developed new techniques. We're going to see that, all the post-Impressionists and post-Impressionists.
Correct.
Now, after this, we're going to visit a second museum just down the road. This is famous Golden Mile of road of European art. There is nothing like it anywhere else in Europe. And after visiting the Thyssen, we're going to visit the not called museum, but it's really an institution called Caixa Forum. And in Caixa Forum, we will have the great pleasure to see Toulouse-Lautrec. Now, Toulouse-Lautrec, as a character, as a painter, was the great instigator, let's say, of Paris at the end of the 19th century, what the Parisians called La Belle Époque. The belle in the sense of fun, in the sense of beautiful, and Impressionism was very much a part of it. So to be able to talk about Lautrec is a privilege, because there is no other character in the French Impressionist Revolution so incredibly interesting as Lautrec himself, as a person and as an artist. And then our final stop will be the Museo de Reina Sofia. We will have covered our Golden Mile all the way down to Atocha, where the Museo de Reina Sofia is, and our focus there will be two great Spanish artists, Pablo Picasso and Salvador Dalí. Picasso, of course, illustrating the birth of a new technique within this modern birth of modernism, which was decisive, which was Cubism, and there are plenty of Cubist paintings in the Prado, in the Reina Sofia, the Museum of Reina Sofia, but there is one which is probably the most famous painting in the 20th century. It's called Guernica, and it's the celebrated painting of a famous bombing. So Picasso is, of course, a key artist of the 20th century, and the other key artist is also Spanish, Salvador Dalí, who, instead of painting what he saw, he painted what he dreamt. Dreams, painting dreams, was his greatest success, and he discovered a world inspired by Sigmund Freud, who of course had been the great discoverer and of dreams. And Salvador Dalí continued, he was a disciple, he always said he was a disciple of Freud, and he used his theory and his psychoanalysis to delve into the different persons that he met and the dreams that they had. So these two painters will finish, I think, bringing Spanish painting to its foremost in the middle of the 20th century.
Perfect. So that's fantastic how Dalí, he could, instead of writing his dreams, he could paint his dreams. And that would be the end of the tour, more or less?
That will be the end of the tour. Of course, the modern painting continues on, but I think it reached, as far as Spain goes, a climax. And this climax was right in the first half of the 20th century, with these two great artists who were both absolutely magnificent. Dalí always used to joke about Picasso, and he said Picasso always says he's a great painter, so am I, but Picasso also says that he is a communist, and Dalí would add, neither am I.
That's fantastic. So, Professor, thank you very much. I hope this adventure is very successful, I'm sure, with your collaboration. Thank you very much.
I'm very glad to contribute anything I can to the Spanish Tapas of Madrid.
Thank you. So, this is the beginning with the collaboration with him. We will do Hemingway tours and other tours that are coming, and we will tell you later. Thank you, everyone.